Hey guys. There's so much craziness happening right now. The last couple days have been really, really busy and just a lot of things going on. I hope everyone is okay with all of the natural events that are occurring. And I don't really watch the news, you guys. It like really affects me in a negative way. So it makes sense in my last reading why the sun was so red. I thought it was from the smog, but it was actually from all the smoke from the fires that were happening. The local towns being evacuated and all this ash in the air, and just the air quality so bad. And like a lot of my patients were telling me that they had to be evacuated in the middle of the night and just had enough time to grab their kids and their animals, and they've been staying in tents and at the local fairgrounds and stuff like that. And so a lot of crazy stuff happening. It's so interesting that it started on the day of new moon in Leo, and all that energy that I was picking up and how it kind of coincides with that. Also, what's interesting is the energy that I was picking up on that day is like leaving the old behind and starting new. I was kind of thinking how the fires are symbolic of that, and obviously I don't mean like anyone who was harmed or people losing their homes and animals and things like that. That's really tragic. I'm talking more about what fire like symbolically represents, and how with the spiritual energy that I've been picking up on lately and the messages that I've been receiving about new starts and about the old I think my reading that day was literally about like crumbling away of past things in order to build new again. And I had no ideas about the fires at that time, guys. But those were the messages I was getting. Okay, and it's really in line with what's going on in the world. Well, locally, but also like on a more zoomed out scale too within the world. But there's so much conflict right now. Like I see it with when I go to the store, just with other people while driving, just people. Like tension's high right now, guys. Really. And I wanted to kind of do a spread that is opposite of like the bifurcation spread that I did, where it's like two opposing sides coming together, because that's what this time is about. And what's interesting is that came up in my reading too last time, when I was talking about the new moon in Leo energy on Monday. But it was about coming together and connection, and a lot of the readings are like that, but that one particularly had like the Three of Cups a couple times, which is about soul family and connection. And also one of the oracle cards I was thinking back to was a leg up, which is like being okay, accepting help from people. And I've talked to a lot of people who've been affected by the fires, and it's hard for them because they're so used to dealing with things on their own. It's hard for them to accept help from other people and having to rely on people for basic, like staying in a tent in the fairgrounds, guys. I mean, it's heavy stuff. So it makes sense why those messages were coming out now, on a more like 3D level. So I wanted to kind of do that type of reading today with the bifurcation coming together, where it's like opposing viewpoints, or like a situation that's riddled with tension can become calm, okay, or have reconciliation with that. I was just thinking about the fires and how like just from like a more like symbolic message of how sometimes if things don't have a sturdy foundation, they need to completely crumble away and be rebuilt. And if those things are meant to be in your life, it'll be rebuilt stronger. Not anything to do with like the actual fires that are happening right now, because I know that there's a lot of tragedy and heartache associated with that, but just how representative it is of like things in our life that are no longer serving us, and how to be able to accept that. Acceptance is a huge part of moving forward, guys. Huge part of moving forward. It can't happen without that, and oftentimes we don't want to accept things, and we live in a state of denial, and we're stuck in that cycle of I could have done this, I should have done this. It's accept it. You can't change the past, guys. You can't. It doesn't make sense to ruminate on situations that you can't change anymore. It's a waste of mental energy, and it's inhibiting movement forward to make progress in your life. So acceptance is huge. And then rebuilding a more solid foundation. So that's definitely applicable to what's happening right now. That message that I got today. Just kind of a somber mood today, huh? Everything that's going on. But let's see how we can resolve some conflict in our lives, guys. Okay. So I'm going to use Mystic Mondays tarot deck. This deck is really pretty with the shiny sides. Alright. So the first couple cards, I'm going to do 2 lines coming together. The first 2 rows in each will be the conflict that the collective is dealing with right now. And what steps to take to resolve it, and then the outcome and spiritual guidance at the top. All right. But yeah, I really hope everyone's doing okay. I've heard some horrific stories lately about the impact that these events have had on people. So. Five of Cups, yeah, that's kind of that like somber mood for sure. Kind of not focusing on the cups that are filled, but more focusing on the cups that have spilled over. And I'm not saying ignoring your problems, guys. It's just a perspective shift, acceptance, okay? Because you can't change things that have happened. And 2 of Cups, yeah, love, okay. All right. The Sun, happiness, it's inhibiting happiness, yeah. And taking the Knight of Swords and 5 of Wands, okay. So these are about the conflicts that are in our life right now, guys. So the first 2 that came out were 5 of Cups and 2 of Cups. 5 of Cups is like just regret, sadness about the past, not being able to move forward, not being able to focus on the good things in your life, kind of looking back like, man, those cups that spilled over, you know, like I was saying, just not accepting that those cups have spilled. This is totally the energy that I was picking up on today in the collective. And I mean, it has a lot to do with the events that are happening right now as well. But just on a more like interpersonal level, like things that have happened in your life in the past that didn't turn out the way that you had hoped. It doesn't help to ruminate on that, guys. This is my intro, this card, okay? And a lot of it has to do with love, relationships, really, like relationships from the past or that we're currently in, and just kind of like not focusing on the right things, guys. This energy, it really sucks. I felt it all day from the collective, and it's not an energy that I'm typically in. I know it wasn't mine, but it still affects me because I can feel it, you guys. But this is what it does. It blocks happiness. This is the energy that I'm getting from this right now, the sun in reverse. Sun is all the good vibes. Okay, this energy, this mindset inhibits our happiness, our success, our joy. So it's really like this, right? It's a mindset, and this mentality causes a lot of conflict in our relationships, our ability to love and be loved, accept love and give love. Okay, that's really heavy. Plus, I mean, look at the colors in this card, right? It's like all that fire and just blue, like feeling blue, right? And then there's like all this fiery energy, a lot of tension. It's inhibiting our ability to obtain true inner peace and happiness, guys. So Knight of Swords and Five of Wands. Yeah, this is the drama card. This one's been coming up a lot lately. This is the conflict. This card does represent conflict, opposing viewpoints, drama. I mean, that tension. I mean, just look at the way these wands are like crossing, right? It's like not in alignment, kind of in disarray, just messy conflict and drama, a lot of tension. Everything has to do with relationships and love. Knight of Swords is about swift action and cutting this out. Look at this, guys. Look at this. This is amazing because these two cards came out together. Knight of Swords is about swift action, cutting this out. Even look at the way the sword is faced. Cut out the drama. Cut out the conflict. You know, try to release that tension in your life that is based in this Five of Cups energy that's blocking our happiness and our ability to have true connection in our life. From not accepting. That was the main message I was getting today, was not accepting things that have happened in the past. And there's no way to change that, guys. There's no way. It's causing so much conflict in our life. Five of Wands. Okay. So yeah, that's the problem. Is not working on cutting this out when we need to. Okay? Not working on resolving that inner conflict that leads to external conflict in relationships. And our ability to have inner peace and happiness. So I'm gonna leave those upside down. And then I'm gonna do two cards to kind of advice of how we can I mean, this kind of is the advice, guys. Like, this is the energy that I'm getting from the problems in the collective right now. This kind of is the advice in itself, is to turn that energy around, right? Work on that inner peace and true inner happiness, getting out of that Five of Cups energy. I feel like if I just flipped the cards the other way, it's kind of the advice. Five of Cups in reverse, Sun card comes up right. And same with Knight of Swords and Five of Wands. This is how it is now, not working on cutting out that conflict internally and externally. And this is more the action that needs to happen, right? But let me pull some anyways, just so I can get more advice on that part. Seven of Wands, yeah, okay. 10 of Cups. All right, so Seven of Wands is about protecting, okay, protecting something that you value. It's about being defensive. It's about feeling backed into a corner. I can imagine there are a lot of people out there feeling this way. I mean, this was totally the energy I was picking up on all day. Defensive, regret, living in the past. Just a really like shitty feeling, to be honest, guys. That was the energy from today. The advice is, again, you know, flipping that, shifting your perspective from that Five of Cups energy in reverse, okay? To work on inner peace and happiness. Letting down your guard. Because this is not being vulnerable. This is guarding your feelings, your emotions, your heart. You can't have this when you're like that, guys. Okay? It's like this, right? So this is the advice. There's strength in vulnerability. And that doesn't mean being a pushover. Okay, it just means keeping your heart space open. Not living in the past. Acceptance. Okay? I heard these song lyrics today that so went in line with the energy that I was picking up from the collective. And it was, when enough is enough, that's when you know that you're halfway there, right? When you're tired of feeling backed in a corner, feeling defensive, sick of regret, living in the past, these are not good feelings, guys. When enough is enough, okay, and you're not able to obtain this, that's when you're halfway there. Just realizing that you have the power to change this mentally, you're halfway there. I love that. I love that. And those lyrics like really stuck out to me earlier today on my commute, and I was like, that's so in line with the energy I'm feeling, and these cards are perfectly representative of that. So yeah, the advice is to let your guard down. Not a reason to be treated like shit, guys. Just, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to express your emotions, because if you hold it in, I mean, you're just gonna be focusing on these spilled over cups, okay? And also, when it inhibits your happiness, it doesn't spread in the world. It doesn't spread. Through our relationships, through our connections. So the advice, 10 of Cups, complete emotional fulfillment with those that you love. 10 of Cups is complete emotional fulfillment, guys. How do we get that? Through the relationships that mean the most to us. Through unconditional love and connection, and by cutting out that drama, that tension, that conflict, not living in the past, not living, not being defensive of your heart space. Okay, not being defensive or guarded. What's interesting too is there was a patient that I saw, and the procedures that I did for her were really helpful. And when she has been in pain for years, guys, in pain for years, and all of her daily mental energy was going into like dealing with her chronic pain. And when I was able to like physically help her alleviate that, she was like, I am getting back parts of myself that I'm getting more creative. I don't have like a scowl bitch face anymore. Like, I am getting back. She was like, I can't believe how these things, I'm like, oh, you're getting back to yourself. Because all of her energy was going into managing her pain and feeling safe. This is wanting to feel safe. When you live like this all the time because of things that you've been through in your life, trauma, bad experiences, relationships, substances, whatever, guys, like anything, any kind of trauma that you've been through in your life, and this is how you live, all your energy goes into this, and you lose this. You lose this inner peace and happiness. You don't have the mental capacity to focus on that because all of your energy is spent on this. So it's eliminating that, guys, so that you can get your soul back. Don't give your power away. This is giving your power away when you live in this energy all the time. Same with Five of Cups. It causes us to be like this. The Sun in reverse. That's like, the Sun is the happiest card in the deck. In reverse, it's like, holy shit. Like, that's bad, guys. We don't want that. Okay? Cutting out that conflict internally and externally, and working on complete emotional fulfillment with our connection. Look how these are connected. You see that? Connection. That's repeated theme here. Not opposing tension or attachment. Connection. See the difference, guys? The visual representation in the deck that I chose to use today. Amazing. Like, amazing. Okay, so and then let's do outcome at the bottom. King of Swords, yeah. Truth, clarity, fairness, honesty, you know, just cutting things out. Swords are represented a couple times here. Well, it's pretty balanced overall between like wands, cups, swords, but this is the advice, guys. Swift action with fairness, good judgment, clarity, truth. Okay, being perceptive, being aware of your surrounding and being able to make good judgments with balanced mind and heart. Because look at this. This was the advice, and then the outcome. 10 of Cups, right? Like letting your guard down for complete emotional fulfillment and being able to firmly stand up for what you believe in, cut out things that are no longer serving you, whether it be, you know, this mentality or people that are just causing a lot of this in your life, guys. Okay? That you're hanging on to out of attachment, not connection. Because this was the advice, right? Complete emotional fulfillment through connection, and this is the outcome. King of Swords. What's interesting about this coming out in this spot is from the deck that I chose to use today. Normally the King of Swords has his sword across his chest. He's very guarded. In this one, he's not. In this deck that I chose to use today, he has a sword by his side in case he needs to use it, but he's not guarding himself. And he has it with the hilt up and the blade down. So it's still there, like representative that, you know, if he has to use it, he will, but it's not across his chest like a normal King of Swords card would be. That's a really poignant message, guys. Amazing. So that's the outcome, okay? Truth, clarity, good judgment, fairness, not being guarded, okay? And then Ace of Wands is the spiritual guidance, okay? So Ace of Wands is that passionate new start, and that this is like basically like overall energy is the spiritual guidance, like the message from the divine, like the recommendation from the divine. Ace of Wands, passionate new start. Passionate new start, guys. Incredible. I mean, this message is very, very clear on how to eliminate conflict in our life, what the outcome will be, and what Spirit is saying that will bring. Okay? Very clear message today. As usual, I should say. Let me pull a couple oracle cards and then I'll let you guys go. I'm going to use the Alice in Wonderland Oracle deck. What's interesting is when we had that thunder and lightning storm this past weekend, my daughter, she's scared of thunder, and so she came in my bed in the middle of the night, which I don't mind at all, guys. She's 16, by the way. It was actually kind of adorable, and I was happy to be there for her. But when we woke up, we were like, what the heck happened? Like, that was insane. And she's like a little brainiac, and she was like, I was like, I wonder when the last time that happened in August in this area. And she looked it up, and for our area, it was 2006, so 14 years ago. 14 years ago was the last time we had a thunder and lightning storm in August. So pretty crazy. It's been a while. But I did a reading the next morning because I felt a huge energy shift after that night. And what's interesting is from this deck, it kind of turned out to be a personal reading, so I didn't record it or anything. It was just for me and her. But I used this deck as the Oracle deck, and there's a card in here that says Nature Communication. And that was pretty amazing. I just wanted to share that with you. That's like a little sidetrack story, but I really like this deck, I guess is what I'm saying. Alright. Growing up, yeah, so this is about rejection of perpetual youth. This is about wanting the knowledge and being able to apply that to turn it to wisdom as you go through lessons in your life. It's not necessarily about age, guys. It's more about the wisdom that we acquire through the experience in our life. What happens when we don't accept things that have happened in the past is we're rejecting the lesson, and it inhibits our soul's growth, and it keeps us stuck in that energy. All our energy goes into being fighting and defensive and trying to stay, feel safe internally, and avoiding, pushing people away or not accepting people's help, whatever the case. All our energy goes into that, and it's inhibiting utilizing what those lessons or events in your life were meant to teach you, to have your soul expand. You're rejecting that. So this is about the opposite of that. This is about saying, no, I want the lessons. I want to look at things that have happened in my life and be able to learn from them and grow from them and apply that wisdom going forward. That's literally what this card is, guys. Incredible. That's really amazing. Keeping up immense effort, yeah, and advancing. So that's so in line with this, guys. When you're putting all your energy into living this way, because of things that have happened in the past, not accepting, you're inhibiting advancement. This is the message, okay? Immense effort to live like this on a daily basis. You lose other aspects of yourself, and therefore can't connect with other people and spread your positive influence in the world, because you're living from a defensive standpoint all the time. You're giving your power away. This card is saying, in order to advance, you don't have to do that. You can be vulnerable. That's a strength, right? Because opening that heart space, but it doesn't mean that you have to take shit from anyone, guys. Okay? There's a difference. There's a difference between being vulnerable and being a doormat. Okay? And you'll be able to tease out the two. People who see your vulnerability and take advantage of that, you'll know. It's time to cut that shit out, right? Cut that out of your life. But the people who respect your ability to be vulnerable despite everything that you've been through in the past, because of acceptance, because of letting down your guard and keeping your heart space open for that complete emotional fulfillment, and Two of Cups, really, like unconditional love. Or like really loving, meaningful relationships in your life, they'll reciprocate. They'll reciprocate. Ace of Wands. Okay, you'll see that. That's literally what this card is saying, just backing up the message, okay? And I'm gonna leave it there, but I'll do this one. Overall energy at the bottom of the deck. This is the number 1 card in this deck. All in the golden afternoon. Inspiration, creative spark, imagination, conception. That's this card, guys. Summed up to a T is Ace of Wands. How incredible is that? Ace, number 1. Number 1 card in this oracle deck. Literally the same meaning. Passionate new start. Inspiration, creative spark, imagination, conception. Brand new, passionate beginning, guys. For your creative pursuits from a place of love. Amazing. You can't make this stuff up, guys. So again, I hope everyone's okay and that you guys are all doing well. And I'll check in with you guys a little bit later this week.